How's it going? I'm Ryan. Today I'm going to go over the two trades I took on NQ. Took a loss in the morning, stepped away for a while, and then actually just before recording this, caught a little scalp to make back about half that loss. So small loss on the day. We're in it there. Um, the volatility has been insane. We had a massive drop over the weekend and the opening session on Sunday throughout the pre-market. Formed a little bit of a double bottom, and we had a massive rip to the upside, a big dump back down, and now we've kind of been in this range between like 17,800 and 17,200. So a pretty big range. 600 points is definitely pretty significant. And I'll take a look at kind of what I was watching and go into the day. So looking at the levels, these levels are derived off of high volume nodes from the volume profiles. That was a mistake. I didn't mean to move that. This blue line was the gap that was yet to have been filled in the pre-market. So we gapped down over the weekend, and that was the gap fill line. So that's what this blue level is. This is this high volume node down here that we had from the overnight pre-market session. And then we have a node from last Friday, kind of around the point of control with this volume node here. And then we had one to the upside that was from the Friday pre-market, and then throughout the Friday session. So see how kind of those have been working, as well as this zone down here, just the low of the day. That would have been a really nice long. In fact, that was probably the most transparent setup in terms of my style of trading. So we did wick down into here a couple times. I was just thrown off by the volatility and how much price had fallen. So I wasn't really looking to take a long position. I felt like that would be fighting the trend. But like I said, we did have what appeared to be like a double bottom on the hourly, and then pulled back into the support zone and got a bounce, and that would have been really nice. You could have got in near the low, put a stop below the zone. Even in these conditions, that would have been like 60 points risk. But from there, it ran 1,600 points. So, 60 points risk for over 1,000 points of a move up without much stopping. Today was just nuts. So let's get into it. Let's talk about the trades I took and why. So my first trade, and this one was, I don't like it. I wish I didn't take it because I didn't really have a setup, or I didn't have like enough of a setup. I did like the idea of it, but it didn't show itself to me necessarily. So I took a short here. I took 3 contracts short, right around this like 700 level. Reason why is we had the overnight value area high there, and then we had the high a day just below it. And we had sold off a little bit, then we'd come up and we had started to look kind of like we were losing momentum around that 700 level, nice whole level as well. And what I wanted to see was a quick spike up above that value area high and that high a day. I wanted to see price move up and then pull back down, just thinking that that would be a logical place for people to have stops, see that sweep of liquidity, and then get the continuation to the downside. It's kind of what I had in mind. And I will show what happened that made me enter. I was looking 1 minute. The 5 minute did not get confirmation, but on the 1 minute, got dragged back through all this price action here. All right, let's take a look here. So on the 1 minute, we're looking right in here. So yeah, what I was watching is we bounced off. We started to see some weakness in price action, and then this was the candle that caused me to get in. Like I said, we had that 700 level. It was the high a day right in here. We got a wick over it and then pushed down lower and closed on good volume. I entered short with a stop above that wick, and then targeting a break of this little swing low. So I had about 100 point take profit and about 60 points of risk, a little less than a 2-to-1 risk reward. I was probably being a little generous or a little conservative. With that take profit, I probably could have brought it down to this zone. Realistically, if it had rejected and pulled back down, and this is where I'd want to see it go, which would have been more like 200 points of profit. So it didn't happen regardless, right? I should have waited for some confirmation on the 5 minute. We got it on the 1 minute, and I just jumped in. Things were pretty volatile, so I was maybe FOMO, thinking that the move was going to happen without me. And the move certainly did happen without me, but the move was to the upside, and it just ran and ran and ran. So I was proud that I took a trade. I lowered my risk by reducing my contract size. I only took 3 contracts per account. Normally I'm trading 5. And then I had a hard stop, obviously, based on price action. So 60 points is a pretty wide stop. I don't really want to take that wide, especially with full position sizing, but with 3 contracts, it wasn't too bad. So that was my first trade. That was silly. What would have been the best trade, obviously, hindsight 2020, but a long down here would have been pretty perfect. You see us wicking into this area, holding it. You see on the 1 minute, you see that volume rising as we're printing hammers. That gives a pretty clear risk to reward ratio as well. So that's a trade that I kind of missed out on, that I just need to follow my system. From there, we came up, rejected this upper zone, pulled back, made a lower high here, and then kind of have been in this range, failing to break lower. The second trade that I took was a break of a bear flag, nothing crazy. So I came back and saw that we had tried multiple times to come back up and test this zone and rejected. And we started to form a series of lower lows and lower highs on this. So we have our high, we have a low, we have about an equal high, but then a lower low, lower high, lower low. And then we started to form bear flag on the 1 minute and the 5 minute. So we'll take a look at that. I was taking this into consideration. We kind of had this flag right here on the 5 minute as well as the 1 minute. We tried to get a push up, and then you see that price pushed up and then closed really weak, and then we broke out, and that caused me to enter. So I entered on this candle and pretty much immediately set my stop to break even. This candle stopped me out, so I actually took 3 trades, but it was just a re-entry, so it stopped me out. And then once we started to wick around, I entered again, pretty much got the exact same entry. My target was this level down here. I was targeting 17,400, which we just missed, so it wouldn't have, I guess, wouldn't have really mattered. I would have got stopped out in my trailing stop regardless, but my stop got hit because I was trailing my stop. I didn't want to take a loss or forfeit any money on this, because I almost actually was break even at one point when we were at the very low here, and then we came up and hit my trailing stop, but we did recover it. Little over $200 loss. That's absolutely nothing. We're perfectly fine, especially on a day like today. I'm more than happy just to manage my risk and walk away with a small loss on these fresh PAs. So I don't want to get too deep into a hole. I was happy that I could take a little scalp. I just saw an opportunity, really. I just saw weak price action. I saw a break of structure to the downside, right? We had lower lows, lower highs. Like I was saying, we formed a bear flag. We had price action. We had volume, increasing volume on this breakout. So it was everything kind of lined up, and they gave me a clear risk to reward. You know, I entered in here and just put my stop above the wicks that created, or excuse me, that broke out. So once we came up and retested, like I said, I got stopped out, and then I re-entered and put my stop above the wick of the breakout candle. So it was about 30-40 points of risk, nothing too crazy, and I was shooting for this 400 level, which would have been over, I think it was 120, 130 points. So yeah, I had a pretty good risk to reward there, probably about a 4-to-1 had it hit my take profit. But like I said, I wanted to trail my stop. I knew that price can swing pretty aggressively, and when you look at the candle that almost hit that 400 level, and it immediately went from 17,400 to 17,570 in 3 minutes. You know, it ran almost 200 points. So it's just a crazy market. It's not a market to put on a bunch of risk. You're going to get absolutely slapped if you find yourself on the wrong end of a trade, no matter how good you are. If you aren't using proper risk management in this market, it will burn. So not trying to do that. I will probably be sized down until things chill out a little bit, but we're getting hundreds of points swinging in single candles. So it's just nuts. I want to catch it. Obviously, I want to take advantage of it. especially with these PA accounts, and just, you know, if I can have some nice wins, get me closer to a payout, that'd be excellent. But my main focus is to keep these accounts alive. I don't want to blow them. I've done too many challenge accounts. I've bought, you know, I put too much money into PAs to not have a payout yet. So the main goal is to have these accounts survive. The second goal is a payout, and I think if I can keep these accounts alive, a payout's inevitable eventually. So that's where I'm at. That's all I did today. Like I said, short, kind of stupid. And then it worked here, just catching a scalp. I only took 2 contracts, so I sized down again, knowing that if I took a loss, I had a decent loss. It was 380 on the day, so I made 180 back or so using 2 contracts. But could have had a nice win, but it is what it is, right? I just got stopped out on that move a little early. I missed about 100 points. That's pretty sad. But it is what it is. All right. I appreciate you watching. Thank you very much. I'm going to be streaming live all week, and I'm going to continue to do that until I'm getting these payouts. And yeah, that's the goal. That's where we're headed. But appreciate you being here. Hope you have a great day. Peace.